What just went down on the field during open media day at OTAs might have looked like just a bunch of dudes stretching and running around in shorts to the casual observer, but trust me, it was anything but basic. Because what we just witnessed was the very first real peek at the Caleb Williams Chicago Bears era. And oh baby, the drama, the surprises, the plot twists. It had everything but a Netflix intro and a suspenseful violin sting. And if you think this is just another summer practice recap, think again, because this thing had more character development than a superhero origin movie, more hidden subplots than a Christopher Nolan film, and I'm here to break it all down for you like you're sitting next to me on the bleachers, popcorn in hand, eyes wide open, and let's kick things off by stating the obvious. Yes, it's technically day 2 of OTAs. But come on, it's day 1 in spirit because it's the first day the media got to roll in with their notepads, cameras, and 97-degree hot takes. And as soon as those gates opened, the energy felt different. Like the moment you walk into a theater and the lights dim and you know something's about to go down. Except instead of actors, we had ballers, and instead of lines, we had roots. And right off the bat, the first major twist wasn't who showed out, it was who was missing. Because when you see a list of non-participants that includes Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Elijah Hicks, Terrell Smith, TJ Edwards, Braxton Jones, Brian Bates, Colston Loveland, Luther Burden, and Zach Pickens, you start wondering if they missed practice or accidentally walked into the wrong Uber and ended up at a Cubs game. But jokes aside, it's more likely maintenance, precaution, veteran rest, or minor tweaks. But Andrew Billings was there in spirit and shoulder pads only, which means he's in that mysterious football limbo known as, we're not worried, but we're also not talking about it yet. But while they were chilling, the guys on the field, they were heating up fast, and I gotta start with the headliner. The one and only Caleb Williams. Because this was his big reveal. The first true public glimpse of QB1 rocking that navy and burnt orange with the pressure of an entire city hanging on his every move. And let me tell you something. It was raw, it was real, and it was refreshing, because this wasn't some Instagram highlight reel of perfect throws into a trash can. Nope. This was a trial by fire, and the defense wasted zero time welcoming him to the NFL in the most Chicago way possible, with a couple of nasty, beautiful, poetic interceptions that had the crowd going, ooh, like it was the final round of a rap battle, and I'm not even mad about it because the first one came from Tremaine Edmonds, who might have read Caleb's eyes so well he deserves a side job at the DMV, and then Brisker jumped a route a few minutes later like he was running the play himself. And listen, this is the best kind of bad day for a rookie QB, where nothing comes easy, everything's earned, and the guys across the line are playing like it's January instead of June. And if you're wondering how Caleb handled it, he didn't flinch, didn't whine, didn't check out mentally. He walked back in, grabbed the ball again and kept firing, and that's exactly what you want to see, because yeah, the picks aren't ideal, but the reaction? That's gold. And that tells me he's already got the makeup to survive in this town. And now let's pivot to something that made me literally yell whoa out loud, and that's the offensive line, because let me tell you about a guy who came from absolutely nowhere to take every single first-team left tackle rep. Yes, I'm talking about Anezi Trapilo, aka the Mystery Brick Wall, because not only did he jump ahead of Kieran Amagaji for the day, he didn't blink, didn't stumble, didn't fold, and instead looked like he belonged out there with the big boys. And when I say this coaching staff is going to have some hard conversations if Trapilo keeps this up, I mean real awkward coffee meetings coming in July, because if Braxton Jones comes back healthy and suddenly has Trapilo breathing down his neck, we might just have a classic underdog camp battle that ends with a rookie protecting Caleb's blind side, and no one saw that coming. Not even the guy who sewed his jersey that morning. But speaking of tight ends, Cole Kmet might be the happiest dude on the field right now because with Colston Loveland out, he's been eating reps like a buffet, and it shows. Caleb's leaning on him as a reliable safety valve. And more importantly, we got a peek into what this 12 personnel offense might look like this year. And let me break it down real quick for the folks in the back. 12 personnel means 1 RB, 2 tight ends, and what it really means in this Bears offense is misdirection, mismatch creation, and tight ends moving like oversized slot receivers, and you can already see it forming. Kmet and Loveland eventually on the field together, motioning, shifting, chipping, and then leaking out across the middle like ninja fullbacks. And the best part? Caleb thrives in that chaos. So this formation might just be his best friend by week 3. And we're not even done with the cool stuff because here comes the running back room, which looked like a scene straight out of a military boot camp, and you can thank Eric Bieniemy for that because my goodness, the man coaches like his whistle is connected to a lightning rod. He was yelling, teaching, correcting, clapping, yelling again in a more intense way, and making sure guys like Swift, Roshan, Monangai, and Homer knew that this was not a jog around the cones kind of day. This was about discipline, footwork, violence in movement, and explosion in the cut. And what I loved most, he wasn't just doing the rah-rah stuff. He was explaining why the drills mattered, making sure these backs understand how to read backside pursuit, when to bounce versus bend, how to get vertical on one cut. And yeah, there's no pads yet, so we can't fully evaluate them, but the coaching being poured into them is worth more than 100 padded reps. And I cannot wait to see what happens when the contact becomes real. Because this RB room is deeper than people think, and it's about to get spicy. But now let's go back to wide receivers for a second because Rome Odunze, ladies and gentlemen, is out here cooking, and while he had a pick thrown his way, he also had moments where he created separation like a pro, and it's easy to forget he's still a rookie because his route running already looks crispy. And DJ Moore, business as usual. He's that guy, plain and simple, and the chemistry with Caleb is building day by day. But the wild card right now might be Devin Duvernay, the former Raven who's showing he might be more than just a kick returner. He's playing hungry, and I think he's gunning for more snaps than anyone expected, which means the WR depth chart is about to become a pressure cooker when pads go on. And if Antoine Randall L has his way, these receivers are going to run routes with GPS accuracy and pivot cuts that make cornerbacks dizzy, because he's out there coaching every step like it's a science project, and it's paying off. But circling back to QB1 to close this out, because I know that's what y'all really care about. Caleb Williams may not have thrown the perfect practice, but what he did throw was a message, and it said, I'm here, I'm learning, and I'm not afraid of the grind. And that's more important than any clean box score. And as this week continues, we'll see how he adjusts, how he bounces back, how he commands that huddle with more authority, and trust me, when this kid finds his rhythm with Moore, Odunze, Kmet, and eventually Loveland, we're going to see fireworks. But for now, it's about the foundation, the footwork, the film study, the chemistry, the coaching, and the day-to-day reps that no one talks about but that ultimately decide games when it's 3rd and 8 in December. And folks, we are only just getting started. So if you're as hyped as I am about this roster, this coaching staff, and this quarterback, then do me a favor. Drop a comment, hit that like sub if you're new, and let's ride this wave together because something's brewing in Chicago.